This dozer right here does not belong to us, my son or I. My son hired him by the hour to clean a spot for his camper one day. But I might need this dozer because I got the mini hose stuck. So I need to go way down the road. It's probably a half a mile from here. Well, I don't know, maybe not that far. It's a long ways, but the road's very muddy. It's supposed to rain again in a few hours. And this is kind of the end of our gravel that we put down. So I'm gonna park right here. I'm gonna load up the four-wheeler and go the rest of the way with the four-wheeler. Yeah, and it's supposed to rain again. So I could probably make it as it is, but I'd leave ruts trying to get the grass to grow. So I'm just gonna leave it right here. So four-wheeler's loaded up. Time for the long walk to the scene of the crime. So when I came in here 2 days ago and made this little trail, it wasn't bad at all. But it rained the afternoon I got stuck, and it rained hard yesterday. So it's a mess. Pulling my four-wheeler is a job. I gotta load it down. I came in here for a reason. On Google Earth, there's a drainage ditch on the very south side of the property. And I was trying to work my way that way so I could see what was going on, either clean it out or deepen it or whatever. And I went through this little low spot, which had no water. It was just soft. And I didn't want to stop. I got here and stopped to move some saplings, because that's what I do. I dig saplings, push them to the side, and go forward 10 feet and repeat. That's how I made these trails through the woods. And when I went to move saplings and then swinging the bucket back and forth, all of a sudden the tracks just dropped out of sight and I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do with that today, but my goal today is to cut a bunch of saplings, or get the ones that I've already cut, and bridge this soft area so when I do get unstuck, I can get through here without getting stuck. So I got my four-wheeler into position. I'm gonna go back and cut into manageable lengths all the saplings that I've already uprooted and pushed to the side, and lay them perpendicular to this bog, and at least get myself to the machine. That's my goal for today. It's hard work. It's hard work walking in the mud. It's hot, and it's gonna rain around noon, so I only have a couple hours, but I'm gonna do what I can do. I've heard good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from poor judgment. So perfect case of this whole getting stuck in a mini hoe scenario right here. You know, it's funny, 2 months ago when I was on that rental hoe and it was dry, the deer flies were swarming like millions, and I was thinking, this is gonna be miserable out here. But ever since then, no bugs. I'm in the middle of the muck. I'm in the middle of all these trees. It's hot and humid. It's early morning. Not even a mosquito. Go figure. It's kind of nice though. So I think I'm only maybe halfway built my road, maybe a little more, but I'm tired. I want to go sit on the machine for a second, see if I can't get it to move. I can't track out yet because I got this soft spot right here. I said there was no water here when I got stuck. It was just damp ground. I'm gonna, obviously the machine's running. I'm gonna take the bucket and remove some of this material from in front, because I think if I do get it to move, it'll be in this direction. So I'm just gonna scoop it up and put it wherever I can reach. And if I can pick up, this is the back of the machine, if I can pick it high enough up to shove some cut down logs under it, I may have something. I'm making progress, but it only is by the 1/2 inch at a time. The bucket won't pick up the front of the machine, or actually this is the back of the machine because it's backwards. But the blade will. It'll pick it up enough where I can drive some boards under the tracks with the maul. So that's what I've been doing. I've been cutting little saplings like 1.5 inches that are kind of flexible but kind of strong. I've been picking up the blade as far as I dare because it looks like the tractor's going to tump over frontwards, but I know it's not because I have the bucket out here. And I drive them under there, and then when I turn around and try to pick up what is the rear of the machine with the bucket, every time it looks like it's moving a little bit more, so all the weight doesn't seem to be on the tiptoe up here anymore. But it's exhausting. It's hot. It's in the 90s. Tromping around in this mud using the chainsaw and the maul. Whew. It's exhausting, but told my wife when I run out of water, I got another quart. Or if it starts raining, or if I get the machine out. One of the 3 things are going to send me on the way home. I got a feeling it's going to be the rain, but hopefully we'll get a little bit of progress and see. Even if I get it unstuck, I'm still not sure where to go with it because I've been digging holes in the way back to get some dry dirt, so I can't go backwards very far. I think I might have to come around here a little ways to get back onto this road because I don't really want to go through this. It's terrible because I've been trying to grab dirt here with the bucket to pull the machine, so it's probably knee deep in slop. So even if I get it to track backwards a few feet, I'm still not out of the woods, so to speak, no pun intended. Well, I don't think I made much progress today as far as getting that mini hoe unstuck. I was able to pick the back up a little bit, but it just tended to push the front down, or pick the front up a little bit. It just tended to push the back down deeper. And it's so wet I can't dig. If it was dry dirt, I could dig, but you can't dig in this slop. So, whew, pretty hot. I'm gonna take a little break, and I'm gonna throw a few more logs on the road, call it a day. I'm down to my last quart of water, and it's pretty hot. So, a little frustrating, but at least we got out here and worked on it. The sun won today. It's not quite noon. I'm almost through my last quart of water. I'm freaking soaking wet. Soaking wet, shaking. Time to call it a day. I'll try again tomorrow morning early before it gets too hot. At least finish my road. So I have to decide if I want to pay the dozer guy to come out here and try to pull me, or if I want to rent another mini hoe. I think I can safely track out there up to the red mini hoe. Probably make pretty quick work of it, I think. Anyway, tomorrow morning I'll come before it gets too hot. I'm gonna finish my road so I can get right up to it with a mini hoe if I so choose to. I don't know about holding up that big dozer. It might not hold it up. I got a lot of chain, so. All right, I'm gonna pack up. I'm leaving the shovel in the mall, try to make my load a little bit lighter. Heading to the truck where I have clean, dry clothes, thank goodness. Well, I came this morning, I was pretty optimistic because it hasn't rained at home in 2 days. But apparently it rained a lot here because it's worse than it was when I left 2 days ago. I didn't come yesterday. I kind of overdid it the first day, and I had some cramps on the way home. I was dehydrated, so I gave it a break for a day, thinking it would be drier today, but I think it's worse. Kind of disappointing. But I do have some chain and 2 chain come along, so that's my plan, is to try to see what's back there that I can hook onto and maybe try to pull it backwards. 2 come-alongs and 2 different points of pull. And these were made, they hadn't invented aluminum yet.
So these next clips are kind of all mixed up. They're not in any particular order, but basically there's a fairly large pine tree back there, and I put a strap around it, and then I put a long strap, and then I have both chain come-alongs going to that. And I don't know, it seems like scientifically this wouldn't work because there's no stretch to either those straps or the chain. So it seems like if the machine were to just move forward a 1/4 of an inch, you would no longer have advantage, but it worked. I mean, every time I do this, the machine moves a little bit, so I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'm getting there. I had to redo the chains numerous times. The 2 come-alongs did not have a neutral function where you could just pull the chain out, which was really frustrating. So to make the chain, when I had to reset up, and to get the chain out of the come-along so I could reset it up, I had to crank it out just like I'm cranking it up, except when you're cranking it up, it's in tension and it doesn't flop around on the ground. When you're cranking it out, you got to hold it with one hand and crank with the other hand. It's kind of a pain, but you know, they're free. Somebody lent them to me, so I'm not complaining. It just it was a trying couple hours there in the mud.
I just noticed I can actually see the track over here where it's coming out of the mud. This is awesome. I'm gonna try to get a few more inches. I can't go straight back because this hole, this is where I tried to dig some dry dirt to get out the first day. So it's just a nasty hole. I'm gonna go out this way where the chainsaw is. If I can get out. It moved about 3 inches. I just got the chain come-alongs tight until I felt like that was tight enough, and then I got in and wiggled the machine back and forth, and it creeped backwards. Now I'm going to tighten up the chains again and just keep on repeating. If I can get on top of this hill, I think I got it made. I didn't get too much on that one, but a little bit.
So I don't think I showed it much, but whenever the tracks would come up and get some air, I would shove little pieces of trunk or branches or limbs or whatever I could get under them. I never really got them up high enough to put anything substantial under it, but I think every little bit helped. And not here, but when the track hoe turns to the left a little bit, there's a substantial pine tree, and it probably saved me because it was the only thing that I could turn and push against of any substance. And then a little bit to the left of that, there's a substantial stump, and I was able to grab it off and on and pull and shake the machine. Otherwise, I'd just tighten the chains and wiggle around a little bit. It'd get 2 or 3, sometimes 4 inches, 6 inches. I don't know how, but every time I tighten the chain and get back in the machine, I would creep up that hill a little bit. And I'm definitely going up a pretty steep hill. I tried digging a couple of times, but it was pretty futile. For one thing, digging mud is really, really hard. But this mud is like 100% tree branches and roots and sticks, and it just, it don't dig. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time on the back end of the shovel. So this whole time I'm feeling pretty bad about this. Not because I'm stuck and I got to work in the mud, but that's not my machine. Somebody loaned me that machine, and it's almost like I was careless or derelict of duty or didn't care or whatever. I just feel bad about getting his machine stuck. I did call him after the fact, and he kind of laughed because he's gotten it stuck himself twice, he said. But yeah, the whole thing was embarrassing. I shouldn't have gone where I did, but I did, and I got stuck, and I learned a lesson. I won't go back there anymore or anywhere near there. I tracked in, and the tracks just left a couple of inches of recess into the dirt, which wasn't too bad, but I guess it was that little crust that was on top. And when I got to the far side of that little swale, tried to go up the hill, that's when the tracks broke through the crust, and all hell just went from there. And then when you get in a situation like this, the more you work it, the worse the mud gets. And then it rained 3 out of the 4 days since it's been stuck, so it's just a nightmare, or whatever you call it, just a perfect storm of mud.
It definitely moved. I just got about 3 inches. Problem now is my tree's falling over, so I'm going to take the tension off the 2 come-alongs and lower that strap down a little bit. Try to, I need my tree. That's the only big one around. Look, I can see the whole track on this side. This is encouraging. It's only coming an inch or 2 at a time, but it is coming up this little hill. And then I'm going to have to regroup, but that's okay. I'm going to get it out of the hole. Woo, okay. So I was able to lift the front of this track up a little bit, and I got 3 little short pine logs under it. That's a first. So I'm gonna let it back down, swing the bucket back to the back where I can push and track forward at the same time. See if I can get any inches. The tree I've been using, it's a tie off, it's got a lean to it. Probably gonna fall on my head eventually if I don't get out of here soon enough.
So here I thought I had a glimmer of hope of getting it to roll, so I disconnected the chain come-alongs and pulled them to the side because I didn't want to get in a situation where I actually start moving and then have to stop because I'm running over the come-along. So the chain is wrapped up on the bumper and the come-alongs are out of the way, and unfortunately I wasn't ready yet, so I had to hook the come-alongs back up, but I'm getting really close. And now when I'm operating the come-alongs, I'm no longer standing in the mud. I'm up at that dry ground, and I'm getting closer and closer to that pine tree, and feeling better about everything right about now. So again, I got the tracks up in the back of the machine, the muddy side, and I put some branches under there. My chainsaw chain came off, and I don't have the wrench, so I'm kind of screwed, but I do have my little handsaw, so I cut up some branches and stuck them under there, because just anything, not so much that they hold the machine up, but they give it a little traction, something to bite on, because the mud is just so slick that nothing happens in the mud. And again, I don't have the come-alongs hooked up. I'm just thinking I'm going to get out of here pretty soon. Look at it go. Look at it go. Look at it go. This is awesome. Didn't get out this time, though. I did have to hook the come-alongs up one more time, but the chains and the come-alongs are out of the mud, so it's just, it's like light and day on the degree of difficulty of dealing with this stuff. This is my last setup for the come-along. Earlier I had swapped to another tree, trying to get the machine to turn in the direction to the left a little bit, but that tree didn't want to hold any kind of weight. It was just going to fall over. So I'm back to the big tree, even though it's leaning, and we're still making 1 or 2 inches at a time. It's still a struggle, even though at least I don't have to stand in the mud all the time. So that's a big deal. And then I was able to get the tracks up one more time, got a few more logs under them, and we're getting really close to getting out of this mud hole.
Okay, it just started to move under its own power. The chains were slack. And I don't want to have to stop if I do get moving, so I took the chains off. And I'm gonna see if I can't back up and turn and go right through these bushes, because that's undisturbed. It's a big old hole right over there. Woo! And if I get it up here where it's stable, I'm gonna take a break. I'm hot. Well, I didn't get unstuck, but I made huge progress. I'm about 6 feet forward than I was this morning. And now, while I use the come-alongs, I can stand on dry ground, which is awesome, because I'm so tired of slopping around in the mud. And when I get up here, I'm gonna go up back out that way. I'm not going out the way I came because that looks like more dry dirt or drier than that. And go back to the truck, take a break, get some more water, and maybe put my shorts on because I haven't really been having problems with thorns. I'm dying, it's hot. It's 1 o'clock. I got here early. I thought I was gonna get out just a little while ago, but I'm just slipping. I gotta re-hook up the chain, come along in the strap and pull some more. I'm very, very close to getting out, but it's starting to rain. I'm tired. Well, I don't know, there's no freaking clouds. I may wait a little while longer, but I can't get caught in the rain or my truck will get stuck and then I'll be in a bind. So let me hook the strap up again and pull some more. Oh, we got slack again on the chain. Making progress. I wish my chainsaw was working. I'm going to cut some boards up with the handsaw. I'm out. So an hour ago I was over there in the hole, and now I'm on, well, it's not dry land, but I'm on solid land. Oh, it feels so good. Now I'll call my buddy who owns the Trico and tell him I got stuck. I didn't want to call him until I could get it unstuck. So I'm gonna walk through the mud a couple more times. I got 2 chain come alongs to get a chain, some straps and shackles, a saw, get all my stuff, put it in a bucket. And I'll have to leave my 4-wheeler. I have to come back for that and bring it to the truck and then do some real work with the Trico while it's not raining. Yeah, so I've been stuck over there for 4 days, 2 working days and 2 rest days. I consider myself to be in pretty good shape. I jog about 25 miles a week, plus or minus. But this mud and this heat has kicked my booty. But the nice thing is, I haven't got bit by a mosquito or a deer fly or anything. In my house, at my house, they're terrible. And there's no mosquitoes here. I would have bet 1,000, well, I wouldn't want to be here after the sun goes down, but it's been so pleasant not having bugs. All right, gotta go get my stuff.